Hey, what's going on, guys? This is B from Kong's R Us. I am here with a very special guest today. Have a super awesome show that we're going to be just doing a quick 30 to 45-minute live stream to talk about all things Death StarCade, talking with my buddy George Addona here, and he has it there in his background. I know I just posted this, about an hour ago in some of the groups. We got at least 8 people here. We got Derek Cleveland like a mother. That's his tagline there. We got the Wizards in the house. Appreciate all you guys that are joining in. So yeah, if you guys don't know who George Addona is, let me share my screen really fast. I know he's there right now. I'm gonna have him come on in just a second, but I want to showcase what you guys might have been missing out when you guys saw him earlier. So let's go. I'm gonna share my screen here. Can you guys see this? Excellent. So George Addona, man, this guy, when he posted in the Arcade1up modding group, this post here, look at this. This post for his Death StarCade had 640 plus people that liked his work. Look at this amazing work here. I'm just going to showcase a couple of pictures of it from the pictures that we saw. He completed this back in June. I mean, look at this gorgeous cab. The Death StarCade is what we called it. The details on this are amazing. I just, my jaw dropped. I could not stop looking at this for like 3 days straight, George. I mean, like every single little detail from the diorama here to the trench to look at the panels on this. Oh my God, you said it was one. There has to have been more. I'm gonna ask you so many questions on this, but like, just look at some of these pictures here. I mean, just the front panel too, and it lit up. It wasn't just 3D prints. It lit up and everything. Gosh, I hope there's a video that shows the little iPad in the front too. I wonder if the video shows it. Oh, there it is. Oh my God, look at that. That blew my mind. Holy crap, dude. Look at that. It was like, what magic was this? And like I'll have you explain exactly what you did in just a second. But I just want to go through the rest of these really fast. Like, gorgeous. My goodness. Holy smacks. Like George, you created a fan for life once I saw this. And then once we started collaborating, George and I have been connecting off and on for the last couple of months. So yeah, that was just a snippet of some of George's talent. He can do so much more. But George, I want to just let you introduce yourself just a little bit. Just tell folks a little bit about yourself, kind of your background with arcade modding, and then I have tons of other questions. But go ahead and introduce yourself.
Yeah, sure. Hey, everybody. Hey, B. Thanks for having me on. It's good to connect. Arcades, it's guys of a certain age, we grew up around this stuff, right? So Atari 2600 when you're like 8 or 9, 10 years old. Star Wars comes out in 77. And then you're just every place that's arcades, right? The original Space Invaders, Asteroids, you name it. It's everywhere. Pizza places, dedicated arcades. And then the gaming system just kept on coming and coming, right?
Yeah.
I always wanted to have my own arcade system, but never did it. They're too big. They're hot. They're dust collectors. You get married, not exactly a great piece of decor in your house, right? But when A1up came out a couple of years ago, I thought for my son, hey, it'd be kind of cool for him to have Rampage or Street Fighter, in his room because they're small and they don't take up much space. And that was for fun. We kind of did it together. But what was cool is when ETA Prime, of course, released the Street Fighter mod, and then Cool Toy came out with his Star Wars mod. It got me thinking, I love those and those are great, but I think I want to do something I wanted to do probably since I was a kid, was make my own Star Wars arcade system. B, if you can see, I'm going to turn this camera here, and what you see up against the wall there is essentially something I was working on before the arcade, which is a diorama of the Death Star. I ripped this off of Thingiverse, so somebody had a great idea. I saw it, I loved it. I modified it a bit for myself, and I completed that, and just to hang on the wall in the theater room. And I started thinking, I was looking at my son's Arcade1up. I started looking at that. I said, you know what? That would make a badass arcade system. So that's what basically got me thinking about what I want to do essentially is make a Death Star arcade featuring the trench from like 10,000 feet, then actually a close-up of the trench on the other side, and then the Death Star control room, the down here at the bottom, the duel between Obi-Wan and Darth Vader, and other little, this is actually a replica of the screen when they blew up all around, right? That's where Darth Vader, Princess Leia, she was on the hook or whatever, and that actually a replica of that. So it kind of all came at once that I wanted to have different parts of the movie, the original movie, captured on the arcade.
I'm like totally geeking out just like hearing you talk about, like, there's more detail in it than I remember, right? Like, now that you're talking about just the way that you planned and designed it from scratch, and like, most people don't have access to a 3D printer, right? And so one of the things that sets you apart from all the other modders is your ability to use Dream and create, using your 3D printer. So I mean, what's your background with 3D printing? Like, was it something that you just started and picked up? Like, we've been doing it for a long time. Like, I know it's, just tell me more about like that.
It wasn't that long ago, to be honest. I was turning 50. My wife, we have a Micro Center local, which is for folks who have a Micro Center nearby, it's like, awesome place to go. Yeah. And she got it for me for my birthday. I mean, it was just a small love block 6x6 printer, and I loved it. I mean, I dove deep into Thingiverse, different models, Star Wars fans, so you tend to dwell on those things, right? So it was fantastic. And I'll just give an example of how crazy I was when I first got it. Here's the medical frig.
Yes. Right? Yes, and look at that. I'm going to highlight. I'm going to get rid of it.
6 by 6 inches, and it probably took me 3 weeks to actually print it, because they're like they're 10, 12-hour prints. Yeah.
Holy.
And you guys can see it.
Oh my goodness. Look at that. You 3D printed that on a 6x6 3D printer? Put it together?
Yes. Yes.
Wow.
And then super glue, just crazy glue. And, I started to get hooked, around the ability to actually, use these models that were already on, and that people, access their talent. And it had a lot of fun. For those, old school anime guys, right? This is some of the stuff I started to do. This is the space battleship Yamato, right? Awesome. Again, available on Thingiverse. It just started to print out and have a lot of fun, right? So basically, that's how I got started. Was using existing models to just have some fun, gain some confidence on a small footprint printer. And then about a year ago, great wife again upped up to a huge 500 millimeter by 500 millimeter by 500 millimeter 3D printer. So this now opens the world to much larger items. Like this is one of the panels that I didn't use for the Death Star Arcade. So something like this takes a day to print.
Oh my goodness.
This takes 24 hours to print on the big one. But look at the again, not my model, but beautifully done, right? And then I just repurposed and then cut things myself and whatnot. So
you set yourself apart, my friend. I mean, with 640 plus people on a singular post, I mean, I venture to guess I can't think of a singular post that was more popular than that this year. Honestly, I mean, I've been in and out of the group for a while, but I know that's a popular group for showcasing mods, and like a good mod will get 100 likes or so, but 640, like it's never been done before. Like a 3D printed mod, it was really just the most amazing thing that I've seen. So like, can you get out your phone camera now? Can we see some more of the detail? Let me get his so we got George's mobile cam. He's gonna give us a sneak peek. Like, this is the full detail version of the cab that you've not seen before. So let's give it some. I'm gonna highlight your camera. Yeah, go ahead and go ahead and talk about it. I just highlighted your phone camera, so go ahead and talk through it. Yep.
So this is a riser, right? So the bottom here is kind of the Death Star duel you see between Obi-Wan and Darth Vader in the movie. And what I did, I don't know if you can see, but this is actually, I built an extension to the riser, so it uses the riser, but the riser was too small. I don't know if you can hear the original riser. I put my finger on it. This is where the original riser ended. And in order for me to fit the figures in, I needed a couple more inches, right? So I essentially built a 3D printed extension. I don't know if you can see it. I just don't mean to be moving around, getting people sick, but here I built the extension here from that, and then I was able to essentially use the plexiglass and then just more 3D printed figures to actually make that diorama, which again just seemed to be perfect for this arcade.
Did you say that the figures are 3D printed too?
No, I'm sorry. The 3D figures are. They're 6 Black Series figures.
Okay,
so
cool.
I'm not that good.
I was going to say, you're making toys now, George, but I'm sure you can do it.
The one regret I had is I couldn't figure out how to light the lightsabers, because it's essentially it's locked in, right? I really can't play around. So maybe somebody smarter than me can figure out how to do a remote control lightsaber, which would be an awesome upgrade, next level.
Yeah.
And then the front, then we move up and then what the front is, what it was meant to inspire was the scene in the Death Star control panel. So, right, that scene where Luke and Han, they bust in, right? And they find the plans for the tractor beam and all that. So, this is kind of just a classic Death Star type of wall. Again, available on Thingiverse. And then I really wanted that little computer that they accessed, that R2-D2 accessed, to find the plans, right? And that's what they found.
You have the little detail for him to stick the R2-D2 thing, right?
That's
so cool.
That is this. That's the droid control socket.
Yeah.
Right. So that was printed, and then just a couple of buttons, right? LED buttons. And then I really wanted a screen to show where the tractor beam was. So I'm going to push the play button.
Yeah, your phone Wi-Fi is a little choppy, so I can see it on the big screen, but it's coming through decently. But yeah, we can see it, man. So you just have that on a loop, right? Like on an old iPhone, is that right?
Yeah, that's an iPhone 4, perfect size. And I just went to iMovie and just looped it. It was 6 seconds in the actual movie, and I just looped it. I don't know, like for 3 minutes or something straight.
Yeah.
And it just plays over and over again, which I thought was kind of cool. And I also like the green. I like the balance of the blue button, the red light, and then the green. It just seemed to work for me.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely have an eye for detail. So, all right, so we've seen a little bit of the front. I know both sides, you said, were just different versions of the trench. One close up, one. Okay.
One other detail was what I wanted also in that scene was they looked down, they actually saw the Millennium Falcon, like right in the hangar bay, and I just I got a picture, I printed it, and then I framed it. I made my own custom 3D printed frame to kind of give the overall control panel, feel to that. Oh, one other detail here I want to show is I printed out. I don't know if you guys can see, but here I printed out some just like panels from just for some graphics, just to kind of look inside of of this, just to give it more detail. So hopefully you can see. You kind of can see the burgundy colors.
Yeah.
That's kind of meant to mimic that control room. All right, where do you want to go now, B?
Let's do just one. If you can do one side of it, I just want to see. I know we saw the pictures on the side, so
sure.
All right, so we're going to the side of it again. So we'll all talk about getting graphics from all the places like Arcade Graphics and Gulf Coast, but I don't know if they could do this. I don't know anybody that does side art panel like this. Man, look at that. It's gorgeous.
Can you hear me, B?
Yep, I can hear you. Go ahead.
Yeah, great. So this is the riser again, where my foot is. So that's just panel that I printed. And that's just white paper I used, just white laser printer paper to simulate lights, because I didn't feel like dealing with LED lights at the time. And then, oops, are we still going here?
I can still hear you, but you're.
And then this is the trench.
Yeah.
All right, this was a ton of work here. Right? So basically, series of trench panels that I printed. I had to line them up, and then I adhere them to the cab, and you can see that's the Death Star trench go all the way to the top.
Oh my!
And this is meant to be like a 10,000 foot view of the trench. And again, these aren't my files found on Thingiverse. But they're really detailed. I mean, there's like gun towers.
All right, go to the other side. Let's go to the other side. Let's see the X-Wing. Let's go to the other side.
Oh, well, the X-Wing fell off, so we don't have the X-Wing today.
Okay. Yeah. But that was, all right. Yeah, that's supposed to be like this shooting, right? Yeah.
Yeah, that's supposed to be shooting the torpedo. My kids thought it would be cool to have a torpedo, so I found these LED lights down. So the ship should be like right about here and fire the torpedo. If I had more time, I would have done another one. I didn't. That's cool. And these are tiles, again, available on Thingiverse, and I just made my own design, and I just kind of glued them together. And then when I got closer to the edge, I had to go to make smaller tiles. There's no plan here. At some point, you just wing it, and you just figure out what you need along the way.
Yeah, I mean that's that's modding 101. You got to use what you have, and as you go, you got to make things work. But I mean, like, you had no template for this. You just had to wing it. I mean, God, my goodness. Like,
Yeah.
I love what Chris is saying here. C Mart the Entertainer says it's hard to see due to the amount of tears of joy. So
the thing was on this side, again, Star Wars wall, the walls. But what I wanted to mimic was the blast door, not a blast door, but when Luke and Leia jumped over the, I wanted to have basically a door with a panel there. And I actually have the figures, I just don't have them out right now, of them just standing there waiting to jump across. And I just wanted to mimic that type of arrangement. So, and then one last stop would be the sides, right? A lot of the Death Star droid, we can put him down. I just kind of made these up as well, these panels here, just to add more detail to the system. These columns I made, right, to add detail. This bottom bezel piece to add detail, and then I actually paid for this file. So the screen, the LCD screen, this piece here, some fellow, I'm down to 20% here. Some fellow had it like on CG Trader, and like for $12 I bought it. And it's not perfect, but it's pretty good. And it just basically, I just stuck it on the whatever screen everybody's using on Amazon, right? That $119 screen on Amazon. And then one other thing I did for detail wise was, I don't know if you can see, but on the side here, there's stars.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right, there's a galaxy on that side. And one of my other hobbies is astrophotography. And I actually took those pictures with my telescope.
Talk about detail, man. Like, this is such a geek out nerd project that has all sorts of like little hidden Easter eggs that that you would appreciate. But now that you're getting a chance to share this, I mean, I hope the community gets a chance to watch this too. I know we have 25 people here that are watching it live. I hope people check it out more. I just realized that I have Bobby's To Die For logo on here. Let me switch that out. So Bobby's here in spirit.
One last thing, give a shout out to 99 Lives.
Yeah.
This is the Boss Arcade control panel.
Awesome.
So, everybody used the standard one. Greg, Greg basically, him and I went back and forth. He mapped this out for me, and I love this the graphic that he had as well. So I thought the Boss, I think it's called the Boss, is what he sells, and I plugged this in and just modified it a bit myself with some decoration. Anyway.
All right, last question about the Death StarCade. What are you running on the guts of that thing? So I mean, like, the outside is great, but what are you running on the inside? What's under the hood?
Yeah, what's hiding back there right now, of course, is a pretty standard self-made build. So i5, probably a year-old i5 CPU from Micro Center, whatever the 35, whatever the state of the art was then, a 1050 Ti card, 16 gigs of RAM. Not a spectacular build, by any means, and it works, right? It works really well, and
it's a hyperspin build, right?
There's a lot that's got going on here. PC games. Let me see here real quick. PC games, launch, via Launchbox. I'm a big fan of the old PC games from the 90s and the 2000s, the Star Wars games.
Very cool.
I love Steam. I love God games. You can buy them real cheap, and plays great. As far as control panels, this is the Ultimark stick here. And then these are just standard crappy buttons. So
awesome. Very cool. Good. Nice. Well, thanks, man. So if anybody has questions in the chat about George's work with the Death StarCade, I know there was somebody else on a previous stream that mentioned that they also made a Death StarCade years ago, but I'm curious how it stacks up to George's, because I'm pretty sure he has the most badass Star Wars Arcade1up mod that I've seen. And I know there's a lot out there, right? There's a lot of people that have made a replica cockpit, and there's I gotta bring Stephen Wolford on. He just made an amazing Return of the Jedi Arcade1up cap, but I mean, this is by far one of the most unique and probably will never ever be replicated, because I don't think anybody has the 3D printer skills and resources that you do. But then this is definitely the, I feel like, definitive Arcade1up mod. So pretty cool. To have it there. I really appreciate just getting to work with you on future projects too. So let's talk about some of the future projects that we have lined up. So you and I have started working together on a new control panel deck. So I mean, like, you didn't stop here with just this Star Wars cab. You kept wanting to mod other Star Wars cabs and things like that too. And so I started seeing what you can do with a laser cutter. So I mean, 3D printing is one thing, but now the fact that you were able to cut MDF, talk about laser cutting, and love to do the demo of what you have planned so we can see what's going on.
Yeah, sure. So, after I had finished this, I swore to myself I'll never do this again, because it was just it was just work and climbing around on the floor and gluing and winging it. Yeah, it's a labor of love, but it's a one-time, right? It's a one-time labor of love.
Try using your harpoon and tow cable on the HCH.
Okay.
Yes. Hey, Kilroy is here. It was Kilroy that was saying he made the Death StarCade 10 years ago. So Kilroy says he made it many years ago, and he's gonna try to get pics and post them on the Facebook group. So yes, awesome. Yes, let's see them all. I would love to be the person that highlights and showcases every single awesome Star Wars arcade mod there is. So if you've made something awesome, Kilroy, and you want to send it off, I'd love to just talk with talent people. And just really quick sidebar, like as I've started doing more of my own mods and connecting with more people, like the arcade community is ton of talented people, and we leverage each other's strengths and things. And so George and I have been able to leverage each other's talents, where he can make 3D printed stuff and I love wiring up crazy shit. So it was a really perfect match for our project. But talk about the laser cutter so we can get into the demo.
So just real quick, B. So when I was working on this, to be honest, when I put on the Facebook, the Arcade1up, I wasn't sure if anyone was going to like it, or people would just say, oh, that's the dumbest thing I've ever seen, right? So I remember putting it up on a Saturday night because I just finished, I might as well do it. And yeah, the reactions were great, and even some of the messages were, some people were really moved by it, which I was like surprised. One guy said you could see the love, right? And it was actually pretty, it was a nice side, especially right in the pandemic time, right? Yeah. Again, we're all doing this as hobbies to take our mind off stuff, right? And have fun and make some new friends and enjoy kind of what we love, which is arcades and gaming and crafting on some level, right? So the laser cutter, yeah, after I had put this together, I kind of got clued into laser cutter technology. I always thought it was really expensive and a bit dangerous, but there's some commercial things out now that aren't terribly, be quiet, aren't terribly expensive, relatively speaking. And I just was totally blown away what you can do, right? I love to have Bobby's skills, with the router, or have a CNC. That's just beyond really what I want to go to. So I figured, what's really the guts of a unit? Really the control panel, right? And having more buttons or different units with different configurations. I'm a big believer in, you've got to have a racing cab, have a racing cab. If you've got to have a fighting cab, have a fighting cab. If you want a flight cab, have a flight cab. If you want a yoke cab, have a yoke cab, right? And so B blew my mind, right? Here's this guy that shows up, less than a year ago with your mod. I'm like, that's really cool, right? I really, really like that. And then you just got better and better at everything. And I go, I took a break from this because I needed a little bit of a break, because after a while you could get burnt out if you're not careful. And then I had the laser cutter over the summer, and I started designing different control panels with B's mods in mind, right? Because I really wanted the control panel. I really wanted the yoke experience, but I wanted something a little bit different, right? Than what A1up was offering. So why don't we go to the garage? Yep. Let me share a screen actually, real quick, guys, so you can see we're not. Can you put my phone back on?
I see it right now.
Yeah. So this is an. Do you see, guy? See? Okay.
Yeah, it's a little slow, but we can see.
All right. So what you see on the screen here is something I just put together, I don't know, Sunday evening in a program called Silhouette, which basically is A1up stock size blueprint for the arcade. And this is totally custom. The colors mean something. The red circles mean cut, and the black just means score or engrave. And what we're going to do now is we're going to turn this, what's on your screen, into a 1/4-inch MDF banged out panel. And the point is, this little square here, or this rectangle you see here, that's actually fits a little adapter I built that fits to B's yoke mount. So why don't we go get started? Then we can talk more, B, about what we're working on together.
Awesome. All right, go ahead and get that started. While he's heading out, I'll just mention the partnership that we've been doing has been great because, and I'll preview a little bit about what I'm doing in just a second. But he sent me a box of stuff on Sunday, I believe, and then I opened it, and the first thing that I get was this, and I was so happy that this is just a custom laser cut acrylic logo that George sent me, and I was just blown away by not only his talent but his kindness. So we've been able to kind of collaborate on stuff, and I love working and collaborating with smart people. So many people have maybe seen me collaborate with Bobby, and Bobby is great with his hands, and you can build stuff from scratch, right? And so this is another version of me working with George, who again may not have the hand cutting saw skills, but he's gonna make a control panel in 21 minutes. So he got, I think it was 1/4-inch MDF, I believe, and he's going to be laser cutting that entire panel, and it's going to be done, and he said, in about 21 minutes. So hopefully by the end of this stream, I wanted to keep it in about 45 minutes or so. There he goes. It's going. All right, I'm going to add it to the stream now. Let's see. Can you guys see that? All right, so that's the laser cutter. And then I don't know if we're going to get audio from him, but he said he was going to turn it on, and it's going to flip. And then that bad boy is going to start cutting that MDF panel right there in 21 minutes. By the end of the stream, we're going to have a brand new custom Star Wars potential panel. So, I mean, talk about efficiency. If you can design and do it. So that's the panel right there. Hopefully he'll be able to, get it going, and we can get it going on. Let's see. There's some other pics. Hey, what's up, Endangered Dog? What's going on? Appreciate what's going on. George is saying, where's the yoke? You should make it even more awesome. So yes, that's what we're doing now. So yeah, there's Bobby. Bobby's so talented. Look at this. But we all partner and love collaborating with people that can do more awesome things than we can. So I don't have the 3D printing skills, but there it is. The laser printer's going right now. George will get back to us. But it's so cool to see that in action. I've never even seen it running in action. But between 3D printing, laser cutting, that's going to be awesome. Bobby, once we get that panel, then you can duplicate it. Bobby's the duplicating king, but from the design standpoint, oh my goodness, George's stuff is just absolutely fantastic. So very cool. And so once George gets back, George, are you back? All right, let me bring you back on. There you are. All right, tell a little bit about what's going on. So I have the laser cutter stream going on. It's about 20 minutes, you said? 21 minutes?
Yeah, about 20 minutes. Yeah, 20 minutes. So what's happening is I showed everyone the file, right? Basically with the design, and it's in what's called a vector graphic file now. And it's a series of Cartesian coordinates essentially, right? So X and Y, and that's fed into the laser cutter. And now it's going off doing its thing. It's about a 40 milliwatt laser, right? So it's pretty powerful. You'll see smoke. It's combustion, so it's burning stuff. So I have a big air filter there that captures the debris and whatnot. But it's making a control panel as we speak.
Is it in your garage? Is that where you do all
this? It's in my garage. Yeah, some people actually have them in their houses and they vent it through the window, but in the garage, yeah. Plus, it keeps the laser cool, which in where I live, it's cold already, so it's added benefit. I'm cold. The laser stays cool. It's all good.
Cool. All right, so that's gonna keep printing. I'm gonna remove that, and I'm gonna show a picture of what I have right in front of me right now, and we're gonna talk about this. So you guys ready for this? Boom. All right, so this is my desk that you're looking down on right now, and I have this amazing guy. George, tell him about this. What is this? What do we do here?
So I blame Bobby for this because he posted about that 27-inch micro center cab, right? Beautiful cab. And he posted it was on sale. I said, what the heck? I went over there, masked up, of course, and we brought it home. And I didn't want to, with the intent of making my own control panel with the yoke as the centerpiece. So what you see, you see the rectangle. We're making an A1up version right now on the laser cutter, but this is going to fit the Micro Center cabinet. And where that rectangular hole in the middle will actually fit a mount that I 3D printed that will accept the yoke. David Israel, actually, I think I saw him online. He's got one of these in the wild, right? So he had something. I helped the guy out, and he's got one of these. Let me just grab the mount quickly, B. So this is something that I just made, and I'm not an engineer, but I kind of made it. And there's StarCade there for you, B.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, right. It's actually built into the model. It's kind of cool. So this will sink in. You'll see it when the other one comes out. This piece will sink in, so it gives you some gravity effect, right? Which is great. And then I prepared 2 holes in the front to sink a bolt and then a nut from the bottom, and then we can same thing here, right? So it'll secure that to the control panel, and then you just simply take off the front and B, you're a master at this, right? With that black bracket that's already there, and you just attach it, and now you have on a flat panel, not the angled panel, right? That the Star Wars cab has. On a flat panel, you now have like a properly angled. Can you see? Like the yoke will come out this way, a properly angled yoke. So this will be in the middle of the unit for the flight, kind of for the flight games.
Yes,
which is pretty cool. So I'll be able to show a bit more when that thing is done. This centerpiece. The upper right hand panel, I blame B. That's a 3D printed piece there, and when he did his, what was it, Macross cab?
Yeah, it's behind me right there.
Right there it is. Yeah, there it is, baby. Right. He had these sliders, which I'm like, not only are those sliders cool, but again, Millennium Falcon. This is meant to be a Millennium Falcon inspired build. If you remember in the movie, they used something like this, which was like a hyperdrive lever, right? They had 4 or 5 of them in the middle. And we were chatting, I think, on Insta, whatever, Facebook Messenger, whatever, one night. I go, you know what? That would be really cool to use your sliders, but with the vaunted kind of hyperdrive things, right? So I went off to Tinkercad. I made it. I shared it with you like 20 minutes later, and you go, oh, let's totally do this. So basically, the upper right hand panel essentially will have just like in the movie, right? You'll be able to push, move the sliders up and down like you're going into hyperspace. Or B will configure it to do something really cool. Right?
I mean, so George is on the East Coast. I'm on the West Coast, and like he messages me, must be like midnight his time, and he'll just ping me and be like, "Hey B, I just made this," and like he sends me pictures of this, and like I drop my phone every time you send it to me. I'm looking at my phone, I'm like, holy shit! Like the design concept of just being able to see like an idea come to life based on our collaboration. Like every time you sent me like a new mock-up or a model, like I literally was like always blown away. So I just love hearing some of the behind the scenes stuff. So
yeah, so the upper I don't know if you can zoom in or whatever, but the upper right hand corner so people can see, based on space, basically I decided 3. So we'll have 3 of these mounted to the sliders that'll go up and down, right? And then B will do his magic and make them sing, make them do something. I know the other buttons there, the 2 blue buttons and the red buttons, again, it's a 3D printed. I designed that upper panel like a console and with holes, and then B will go and do his thing as far as wiring them up to not the APAC. We're going to use something that makes
UHID. So this panel, if you look at it, there's so many buttons, so many things going on, right? So we're going to have the yoke here. We're going to use the Arcade1up yoke, put it in the center. I'm going to wire it up like normal. We're going to have the extra sliders here. So we had more analog slider pots than we had available in the APAC. And then on this side right here, this empty panel, George a long time ago purchased a Suzo Hap throttle that he never got working, right? But that's going to fit right here. It's going to be an awesome actual arcade Suzo Hap throttle. So that's another analog input that we got to put in here too. And so this is just a preview of like, I'm so excited to work on projects like this because this is out of the norm for me. But I found a really awesome encoder that I was working with for a separate mod. I was working on a Steel Battalion mod with Brad that he just recently got. So the UHID from Altimark is another kind of input that can read, I think, 37 different button inputs. And then not only that, it has a hat switch. It has like the regular x-axis and y-axis, and then it has all these z, y, x-axis rotations that you can do too. So it has just enough all of these like custom pots, and it all is going to read as one single giant controller. And so I've been testing it a little bit. So I got the last piece so I can start putting that in. So what I probably will do now that you guys have seen the project, I probably will do other future live streams with me just testing out the wiring for this, because it's new territory. I've not done a mod or a project this intense before, but I mean, like, I'm so excited to do this, get it wired up, and then obviously it's going to work with like my playlist. So like a lot of the games that utilize the yoke are great, but you know, when we like, imagine playing Star Wars Squadrons on this, right? Because now you can.
That's right.
Exactly.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
All the PC and console games that actually have functions for all these buttons and things, like, I'm gonna have so much fun, and I don't know if I'm gonna send this back to you right away, George. Sorry. I know. You made me one too. That was our agreement. So I love this so much. George made me one too. So I'm going to be testing and wiring it up. But I mean, I just can't wait to be playing that game using this, and then using the lever for like, you know, hyperdrive, and then getting everything going. Like, you know, the console and the PC games where you can actually map multiple buttons to things. That's where this is really going to sing. For the arcade standard games, you know, it's just going to be more flash. People always ask me when I have buttons on my control panels, is it like, how functional are those? Is it really for show? And then I say it's like 75% show, 25% functionality, depending on the game you play. But
not this one. Yeah, that's fantastic. Yeah, so actually, I'm not sure, B, who sent you that Suzo Hap throttle, but that was back around April, May, June timeframe. Yeah. And I chickened out. I there's a perfect spot for it right here, and Greg's, you know, boss panel is just so beautiful. I didn't have the confidence to start ripping into it and do the throttle, so I chickened out on that one, and I deferred it. And so now, once I got the laser cutter, no problem. I can make I can get the measurements, make the size, and bam, you know, and there it goes. So it'll have a throttle, it'll have the yoke, it'll have a bunch of buttons, it'll have the sliders. It'll be one of a kind, unique, I think, control panel, and that'll go into the micro center unit. Now that said, what we got on the laser cutter right now, we'll be able to do something very similar on a stock A1up cab. It won't have all the buttons, and it won't have the 3D printed top pieces, but it'll have the similar type of functionality. So again, that's part of the fun. That's part of the craft. Oh, there it goes. You can see the smoke. Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's going. We're building a miniature version of that panel I was just showing right now. I mean, I can do all four of us. Look at that. So you're gonna see this panel, but in a smaller format, right? It was you kind of just used that design and just kind of truncated it, right? So.
Basically, there's design elements, between the two. This one's 26 inches because that's what the size of the micro center. I just used the size of the micro center cap, just measured it off, and just programmed that. This one is the classic. I actually took the dimensions off of Thingiverse. Somebody has a 3D printed model, and I just was able to convert the STL to an SVG, and then put it right into the program, and then just decide, I want a button here, do I want a button there? The other thing too, I guess to point out, which will be bling, which will be just flash, the little 5mm holes.
These small ones up here?
Yeah. So those are meant to have LEDs. So basically, just to light up the control panel. Yeah, to make it look.
Oh, these right here. Yeah.
Just to make it look like a ship with different things.
Yeah, I thought you were getting all fancy with like wiring up LEDs and getting a battery, and you're like, no, they're just Christmas lights. And I'm all like, that's the ultimate light.
I sent you a picture with these strange Christmas lights that have flat tops. Never seen those before. But when I stuck them through, B goes, oh my God, what'd you get, an Arduino? Did you do a Raspberry? I'm like, no, these are Christmas lights that I just stuck through. It looks awesome. Sometimes the solution is the best.
Yeah, the simplest thing when you're modding, right? Like whatever looks good. I mean, like, you don't know all the stuff that happens behind the scene to make some of this stuff work. But I mean, God, like, and before you were printing on something thick, right? Like, how many of these did you print? Look at, if you guys can see this, he printed 6 of these.
Yeah. Right? So the laser cutter I have at most, they claim a 1/2 inch thickness is of wood you can cut. I've never actually done it. Because I think it's probably a lot for the machine. Right now we're cutting a 1/4 inch piece of MDF. I didn't have the 1/4 inch MDF when I was doing this earlier, so these are just 1/8 inch pieces. And because I wanted enough rigidity in the control panel, and I wanted to basically mimic whatever the micro center control panel thickness was. I had to do 6 of them. So basically, I had a little production line one Saturday where I just kind of like your drill press thing, where you just sat there and right. I just did the same thing. I just came in. Difference is I wasn't doing this all day. I was just pressing the button.
Oh man, all these tools to make things so much easier, right? Look at this.
Yeah. This is 3 because the Glowforge has a defined bed. I had to do this in 3 sections: a left section where the throttle is, a middle section where the yoke is, and then the right section where the sliders are going to be, and then we bolted them together. Yep.
Speaking of 99 Lives and Greg, so this is a version of his panel that he did. So I mean, this is like, I guess your standard panel that you would see, and he made a really awesome mount for this. So you know, I mean, really clean. I'm gonna do a full review on this too. Just wanted to showcase it off one more time, but we're essentially making this, but then having all your cool like these buttons will be actual like pop out, and you'll have stuff like that. But that's kind of the size it's gonna be compared to the 27-inch micro center one, right?
Yeah, Greg's is awesome. I love that. I love that mount, the adapter. It's just so good. Yeah,
very simple. I know it's gonna be so good. I can't wait to try that out. That's gonna be pretty soon. But yeah, you sent me the box of goodies. So I was waiting. I was like, oh, it's hurting my eye. It's like, should I do an unboxing? I don't know if those are actually popular at all, but I'm just gonna
look at the laser cut. Look how far it got, right? I mean, it's
going. It's scoring. It's going. Cool. I mean, so this, I just want to see the mount that you sent me, right? So that's the biggest thing, was you need to send me 2. Okay, cool.
I think I put 3 in there. 1 extra, just in case.
Extra, just in case. So cool. So this will be my first time actually seeing the mount. Cool. All right, there it is. All right, that's the guy. Very cool. So this is the mount side, right? Let me pull this out. And so it's gonna sit in this way, like that?
You'll put it out, yeah.
Or is it this way? This way. Like that, right? Because this is the front.
This is the front with the lip.
Yeah.
The front with the lip. That's the lip here is the front, right? It'll just sink right in. Yep.
All right, and this is all the pieces and things too. Man, this is good stuff. Oh, I can't wait to bust this open. I was like, oh, I gotta bust. The first thing that I saw on top was the laser acrylic that you cut me, and then I was like, oh, I gotta stop. I gotta wait and do all this stuff. But this you pack so much stuff in here too. The way you pack things, man. When you said
it's like Christmas, baby, right? Just
Christmas. Oh, look at this stuff. This is such good stuff. I won't take everything. I really wanted to just see them out to see how it looked like on here, so we can get a complete version on camera for everybody to see. But yeah, check that out. Oh, so the other cool thing that I think some people that I teased up in my thumbnail were these. So, I mean, talk about a really awesome, quick mod. You guys see this? Look at this. These are 3D printed bezels for your Star Wars Arcade1up mod. Like, man, talk about like wanting to complete the look of the original Arcade1up, original Star Wars Arcade, and just getting these to fit onto your bezel. Like, that was one of the reasons like Bobby was always asking me like, oh, you should upgrade your monitor to like a 20-inch monitor. And I'm like, but I like the bezel design. It has cool stuff. And now that I have these, like, wow, like this is like the best thing. Like, I just out of whim, I always wanted to ask George. I was like, George, can you make a design and print me this? Yeah. And like 24 hours later, he has it done. And I'm like, it was so cool, man.
Yeah, you got me on a weekend, right? And you know, when things were a little quiet, and because the original ones are bent, right? They're all like simulate some type of hydraulics or something, right? I don't know what exactly the design is, but they're actually, it's almost like a 45, right? It's kind of like something like that, right? Like
it goes into the actual control panel itself.
Yeah, and to be honest, when I actually did this arcade system, I didn't have any CAD skills at all, 0. So I was very, very reliant on what was out there in the public domain. But then I got tired of, you know, what's the old saying, teach a man, fish, whatever, right? So I said, I got to teach myself how to do some basic CAD design. And then nothing better than, you know, getting a challenge there from Mr. B. Kong to get something to work. So I said, what the heck, I'll help out. And it actually came out really nice. I was actually surprised how, you know, and people will email me or contact me, say, can you make me one? And it's like, sure. I mean, just to help an arcader out, but it's, you know, they take a long time to print. It's like 30 hours to do this, right? Because they're high detail, and it's not something that maybe I can make 2 or 3 a week at most, right? It's so.
Yeah. Yeah, awesome, man. Like, so I'll definitely leave a link in the description in case people want to reach out to George just to, pick his brain, right? I think one of the cool things that we've seen in the arcade community is that you helped out another fellow arcade member with like the mount, right? And if people have questions about 3D printing, I know there's another member here, Rashad, is messaging saying that he has, look at this, Rashad says he has 2 CNC machines and 12 3D printers gathering dust. So Rashad, man, we're on the design that, yeah.
Come on. Yeah, brilliant. Oh yeah.
I was in the group too, and I remember you guys were talking about seeing if you guys can connect. But Rashad is a huge 3D printer fan. I'd love to see what he's going on. And he has an original Steel Battalion controller too, asking about doing some mods. But yeah, talented people. I love working and seeing what the folks can do. Arcade Guy says that we're both mad geniuses and can't wait to see the finished cab and be jealous. So I mean, 640 plus people liked your design. I mean, that's the equivalent, arcade equivalent of going viral, if you will, or having the Death StarCade blow up and everything. But these are just kind of a peek of the future mods that we have going on. So I'm going to be wiring this up for George. If you guys didn't catch it, I posted that I hit my 1,500 sub earlier, and I'm going to be giving out a pair of these to a subscriber that comments on that particular video. So George was awesome enough to donate them as well. So look, those are the ones that he already has. One. So thank you so much, George, for the support. You've been an awesome partner. Yeah, so I can see that we're about over 45 minutes right now. The laser cutter is almost pretty much done. I mean, it looks good. I mean, how much more time do you think that has to go?
It looks like it's making the final cut.
Making the final cut?
Yeah, it looks to me, right? Because it's straight. So
yeah,
you can see it. You can actually follow it, right? You see the head, the black head?
Yep.
Yep, you could see that the scorched line is actually cutting through the material now.
Oh, wow. Cool.
Yeah. And one last thing, just to tell folks on the control panel that you have right on your lap, what that black is, actually, it's really cool. I found this stuff it's called silver, a black on silver. So it's a material where they must coat this very thin acrylic. I'm not even sure if it's acrylic. I'm not sure what the material is, but it's laser cutter. You can cut it with the laser. And when you score, the black reveals silver. So that's why you actually see the two-tone effect, the black and the silver. Because I wasn't sure if I wanted to actually get a colorful print, like a classic type of cover, or just go with something that looked more mechanical, look more analog. And I found this material that when you scorch, the silver comes up. I think it has this kind of cool, very temperature cool look to it, right? So then I'm going to stay with it. So that's pretty cool material. Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool. All right.
It's almost done.
Almost done. You want to grab it? Can you go grab it?
Yeah. I keep laser firing, but
cool. So while you're doing that, I asked Kilroy, said that he posted the picture of his Death StarCade in the group. So I want to see if I can pull it up, and I want to see another Death StarCade. So Kilroy, what group is it in? Oh, it's in the StarCade crew one. All right, I gotta go run to my StarCade crew group. All right, let's see. Search Facebook. The Kongs are us. I should have a shortcut to my group really fast. There it is. Okay. Going on. Live streaming. I don't see it. Is it there? There it is. Oh, there it is. Okay. There it is. There it is. There it is. Okay, here we go. I'm gonna share my screen now. Let's do screen share. Let's do my Chrome tab here. So we're gonna be highlighting Kilroy's other Death StarCade. So for those that are interested in joining kind of a like-minded group that you want to learn more about my mods and things that are happening on, I'll leave a link to in the description to join my Kongs are us StarCade crew. Carrie, this is Kilroy. Look at this. This is the Death StarCade. Look at that. Look at that classic design, man. Very cool. Got the yoke in there with the original yoke, I assume. Got the nice little clean logo. Look at that, man. Very cool. Awesome. Awesome. Very clean. Oh, you made another updated panel? Look at that. So cool. Man, I love Star Wars mods. This is awesome. Oh, it even has pedals on the bottom too. You made a stand-up racing cab with pedals too. Man, so talented. Look at that. Very cool. Thanks for sharing that, man. I really appreciate that. So we had another Death StarCade. Maybe not quite as detailed as the 3D printed one, but that was pretty freaking awesome. So I mean, you missed it, George. You have to take a look at it. Look at the group. Somebody else's Death StarCade. Kilroy posted it in the group. Yeah.
That'll be awesome.
All right, so let's see it. Let's see. Oh my God, that was 21 minutes for a custom control panel. And look at all the detail. So you made the holes, but like you just made little like cuts for like the little details.
Just for fun, because these won't show up anywhere because you'll either print a final graphic or you use this material which I was talking about, which does the black on, the silver on black is really your choice, right? Because you can print something out. But just for fun, just to get an idea of what it looks like, this is just scored into the MDF. The most important part though are all the arcade buttons, right? That I put in. These are also I lined up the holes for this to actually mount this into the right. When this actually just slips into A1up, you can see it fits perfectly. These are where the screws go right into the sides. Here, this is the throttle.
Nice. And so you just need to print 2 of those, and then you'll be done for an A1up, right? Half inch, right?
That's exactly right. And then here's the mount. That's just.
You're gonna have to send me another project now. You have to give me samples.
I know. Right?
ship that my way.
This is the yoke mount. Yeah, and then the yoke will go here, and then there's no sliders here. I didn't have the room, but the point is you can make anything you want, right? Yeah. If you want to go with sliders, then make it. Do it with sliders. You have the power to customize things any way you possibly want with this modern technology, which just blows my mind, right? That was
amazing. And how a custom Star Wars panel during this live stream with the laser cutters. I mean, that was fantastic. So, man,
you pop a button in right there, right?
So cool.
Arcade button. So.
Oh my goodness. I'm so in love. I love collaborating with you, George. I just can't say it enough. I hope you guys enjoyed this interview with Master 3D laser cutter, Jedi Addona. Man, so I'll leave a link in the description, at least to his email address. Check us out on the BADDEST StarCade group. Shout out to the Wizards. Thanks for everybody that's been following the channel and for folks that have been watching for the last hour. George, it's been a pleasure hearing a little bit more about you. I'm sure we'll get to work more, but leave a comment if you have any questions. We'll be in the groups, we'll be around, but I appreciate your time, man. This was awesome. Let's do it again. This isn't going to be the end of it. When I start wiring up this bad boy right here, we'll do another live stream and I'll get you on so we can start because some of the stuff I have to figure out and some of the things I won't get. So we'll do some more future stuff. But yeah. All right. Appreciate it. Thanks guys for watching. We're taking it to the next level, right? That's my new catchphrase. This is extremely next level stuff. Good stuff, man. Thanks. Talk to you later.
All right. Bye, everybody.